I've been with the department for 24 years. I served in the jail, courthouse, and I'm currently a patrol officer. And saying that, today was like a good day, was for sure I was making sure on time because I was modern guard training. That's something that was very important to me, is to make sure we honor those that have fallen before us. So a little bit about me. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and got that from Houston University. I'm one of the unique parts about me is under Governor Franklin Bannon, I attended the Indiana Police Academy. During his administration, his governorship, people in higher educated, better qualified officers, so I was taken off from class. So it's pretty unique, and one of the things that I tried to learn from is that they emphasize leadership, they emphasize the abilities to go out there and be doing what we can and do what is right. Let's see. One of the things that I've learned is back in Alberta, needs not yours. There's a lot of things that get said, there's a lot of things that's, not accurate. And I think it's really important that we act what we say is what we do. That we're out here in the community, we're not overlooking the problems that happen in the community. Deputy Prosecutor Hannah, he mentioned the big thing, the misdemeanors. We have not been arresting on misdemeanors as much as perceptions of the community that we're not doing our job. And there's a major issue with that and overcrowding. When you're overlooked, when someone thinks we're overlooking it, we're not arresting on it, and there's no consequences, it makes all of us look bad, and it makes this perception of us bad. And then not just statistics in policing is kind of a unique thing, in that statistics can show that crime is reduced, but we don't feel safer. And when you say that crime is reduced, if we're not arresting on misdemeanors, if police not seeing us arrest on misdemeanors, then they're looking like we're not doing our job. We're looking at the support system's not functioning right. And the perception is that the public's not going to want to report the crime to us. So hopefully with the jail, we'll be able to get more of those that are guilty to have some consequences, and then we're going to get a better perception. That's one of those that we'll have to work together to see what we can do to, not everyone's criminal that needs to stay in here, but consequences are important. Mental health is still a big concern of mine. Any of you have noticed that we have more people standing on the streets and tent cities. I ride horses, we ride horses through the trails here in Madison County. And a lot of these trails, I don't even feel safe with my horse. And I know being on my horse, we can take care of a lot of problems. But when you see tents, when you see needles, when you see syringes, and I'm up there on my horse getting concerned about my horse getting stabbed by one of these needles out here that's when I'm walking these trails, that's a big concern. And one of my daughters was even jumped on one of our trails. So this has been in the past, but it's still safety is a big concern. I mean, my mom won't even go on the trails because after my daughter got jumped, she's like, I'm old, I can't prevent myself. And we should have a lot more safety, to know that we have all this beautiful land and yet we're allowing people to invade it, it's not making us feel safe. We need to get those people, we need to get them, get them off the streets, put them in some kind of community, do something. I mean, justice is not the solution. However, some of them, when they come to us, we have an opportunity to make a change. Another big concern of mine is the kids. Kids right now, they're more susceptible to social media, they're more susceptible to the sex crimes. I mean, but back in the day, we were, sex education came about 6th grade. Now we've got to worry about our 4th graders. We've got to worry about our 3rd graders. And because they have the amount of information that is available to them. You know, as parents, there's only so much we can do. And, you know, we try to enforce the teachers, we try to educate the kids, but the best way is to educate all of our society. We've got to do something better for our kids. If I remember right on numbers, there's almost 500 sex offenders in Madison County. That's a very big concern. I know, it's mental health, it's because they feel safe in Madison County because we're not doing enough. Why are they here in Madison County and why we have such an influx of sex crimes? I know there's some task force. We probably could improve on our task force to make it safer for the community. There's a couple kinds of policing. There's proactive and reactive. Proactive policing is where the officers are out there, they're doing their job, they're enforcing crimes. If you do proactive police work, a lot of times our statistics will go up. They'll make us look like they'll make our community maybe look unsafe or less safe because the officers are doing their job and being out there in the public. The other one is being reactive. If you're a reactive officer, then you're just waiting for the calls to come in. I know at least in one university, they fired an officer because he was proactive and making it look dangerous for the kids that was attending that school. That's a concern of mine. I want to make sure that our officers are doing their job and know that they can be proactive, they can go out there and do effective arrests, and that they have the support and backing that they need. If we don't pay attention to crime, it's going to look like crime's allowed in here. So hopefully we can make a lot of changes and be out in the community more. With the increase in technology, we've not interacted as much. We stay in our car a whole lot more, and that's a big concern. Tinted windows, they're able to hide in your car. Community can't see what you're doing. And that's, people want to feel like we're able to be a public, and I know even though all of our technical gear or tactical gear, we're looking more militarized and not so much like we're approachable. And, we're out here in the community, we're out here on the ball fields, and we're out here interacting a lot more, it's going to be a lot better for our perception that everyone has on us. Anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Doug Shuck. I live here in Anderson. How long have you been with the department?
24 years.
What's one thing that you would do differently if you were elected?
One of the big things is communication. Getting some statistics out there for you, maybe not necessarily statistics, but let you know what we're doing. Let you know, hey, if we're setting speed zones, let you know, hey, we're doing seat belts. Let you know why we're doing that instead of, you guys see us every once in a while on the interstate, you see us doing a speed zone. You think, okay, why is someone else out there? What are they doing? They could be doing something in the community. Making it safer on our roadways is one way that we make it safer for the community.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
There'll be more time for Q&A later as well.